So, let's rewind to the Viking Age. We're talking from about the 8th to the 11th century. The Vikings came from places like Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, and they weren't just out there looting and pillaging. They were serious seafarers. And no, they weren't just raiders, they were also some of the best navigators of their time. They travelled far and wide, even reaching North America. That's right, Newfoundland, way before Columbus. It all kicked off in 793 AD, when they raided the monastery at Lindisfarne in England, which started off a massive wave of Viking raids across Europe. Why attack a monastery? Well, these places were rich in treasure, and they were isolated, making them easy targets. Not to mention, monks weren't exactly ready for a fight. The Vikings travelled in these amazing longships that could handle both deep and shallow waters, so they could sneak up on towns along the coast or travel up rivers into the heart of Europe. And these ships weren't just fast, they were flexible, making them perfect for quick raids and fast getaways. Imagine speedboats with dragons on the front. But here's the kicker. Vikings weren't just raiders. They were also traders, establishing vast trade routes from the frozen north all the way to the Middle East. They traded everything from spices to silks. And while the Vikings might have had a reputation for being bloodthirsty warriors, they were also incredible craftsmen. Think intricate weapons, detailed jewellery, and ships so well built they could survive rough seas and travel long distances. Vikings also used runes, like ancient writing, on stones, weapons, and memorials. There are still rune stones all over Scandinavia, marking places and important events from their history. After raiding, they often settled in the places they conquered. In York, in the north of England, for example, they didn't just destroy, it became a thriving Viking city. In 1016, King Canute, a Danish Viking, became the King of England after smashing the Anglo-Saxons. The Vikings even invaded inland cities, travelling up the Seine in France, the Rhine in Germany, and the Volga River in Russia. The Vikings were also famous for their fearsome warriors. Axes, swords, and huge shields were their go-to gear. They were pagan in their beliefs, worshipping gods like Thor, Odin, and Freya, and their religious practices were deeply tied to their warrior culture. But here's where it gets darker. They also took slaves during their raids and sold them at markets. So, next time you think of Vikings, remember, they weren't just raiders. They were skilled traders, craftsmen, and explorers who travelled the world, spreading their influence and leaving a lasting legacy.